Chapter 1. The Illusion of Talking. Why we speak without saying anything. We think we're communicating because we're speaking, but words don't equal connection, and hearing doesn't equal listening. We've all been there, mid-conversation, nodding, speaking, reacting, only to realize later nothing real was said. Our words filled the air, but not the gap between us. This chapter cracks open a hard truth. Most of us confuse talking with connecting. And in that confusion, we build relationships on noise rather than depth, from autopilot exchanges to emotional monologues disguised as dialogue. This chapter reveals how easily we fall into communication patterns that feel productive but leave us feeling empty. You'll meet characters whose conversations look polished on the outside, but ache with misunderstanding underneath. You'll be challenged to rethink what it means to be heard, and whether you're actually listening or just waiting to respond. Why you should keep reading. Because every argument that spirals, every awkward silence, and every "you never listen" moment starts with this illusion. Break it, and you break the cycle. This isn't about learning to talk better. It's about learning to connect for real. If you're ready to stop performing and start connecting, the first step is seeing the illusion. And this is where that begins. We think we're communicating because we're speaking, but words don't equal connection, and hearing doesn't equal listening. Scene 1. Jasmine. Jasmine stood at the front of the glass-walled conference room, laser pointer in hand, flipping through slides at a clipped pace. "We need to have this deck to the client by Thursday. Their VP will be there. I don't need mistakes." Her voice was composed and professional, but tight. Around the table, her team nodded in agreement. Andy tapped on his iPad. Marissa scribbled notes. Leo looked up, blinked twice, then went back to his laptop. They understood the task. Or so Jasmine thought. On Thursday morning, Jasmine opened the final deck and felt her stomach twist. The color palette was inconsistent. The messaging lacked focus. The entire slide was missing. Later that afternoon, she pulled Andy aside. "I thought we were aligned," Jasmine said, voice edged with frustration. Andy shrugged. "You said you wanted it done. We got it done." "But not right," Jasmine replied, trying to steady her tone. Andy sighed. "You didn't say what right looked like." My reflection. Jasmine spoke clearly, but no one felt her urgency. Scene 2. Marcus and Aaron. Marcus and Aaron sat on opposite ends of their living room couch, a cold silence hanging in the space between them. Aaron rubbed her temples. "I'm not asking you to fix everything. I just need you to listen." Marcus leaned forward, defensive. "But if we just reworked the budget, as I said, you wouldn't have to feel this stressed." Aaron exhaled sharply. "Marcus, stop! You're not hearing me." "I am hearing you," he shot back. "You said you're overwhelmed. I'm giving you a solution." "No, you're giving yourself a solution," Aaron muttered, turning her gaze to the window. My reflection. Marcus thought he was helping. Aaron felt dismissed. Scene 3. Lena and Tom. Lena sat in her apartment, the screen of her phone glowing in the dark. She had spent 20 minutes typing a long message to her father, Tom. "I know I don't always say it, but it's been hard lately. I feel like when I try to talk to you, you just brush it off. I'm not looking for advice. I just want to feel like you're in my corner." She hit send. Waited. 10 minutes later, his response pinged back. "You'll figure it out. You always do." Lena stared at the screen, then tossed the phone face down on the couch. She didn't reply. My reflection. Tom replied, but Lena didn't feel seen. Real talk from Jermaine enters. This is the illusion of talking. You've probably lived one of these moments. Maybe you were Jasmine, feeling ignored, or Marcus trying to help but making it worse, or Lena longing to be heard, only to receive a message that left you colder than silence. This is what I call the illusion of talking. We believe communication is happening because we're using words, But real connection, the kind that changes things, the kind that heals, the kind that builds, isn't made of words alone. It's made of an emotionally aligned presence. We've been taught to speak up, project confidence, and articulate our points. What we weren't taught is how to tune in to what's underneath the words, or how to recognize when we're no longer talking with someone, but at them. Define the illusion. Here's the lie. If I say it clearly, they'll understand. But communication isn't logic, it's emotion in motion. You can have perfect grammar and still miscommunicate completely. People don't hear your clarity. They hear your tone, your body language, the subtext of your energy. If you say, "I'm fine," but your jaw is tight, your tone flat, and your arms crossed, no one will believe you. Clarity without emotional alignment is noise. We're told, use your words like children. However, few of us were taught how to utilize our presence. Rewind. Jasmine's scene from the inside. Jasmine didn't sleep much the night before the meeting. The client was a major national brand with high visibility. She needed this win. So when she entered the room, she defaulted to her armor, fast talking, tight language, bullet points. She believed her speed equaled efficiency. She thought no mistakes communicated urgency. She thought nods meant understanding. But her team read her differently. Leo saw her as impatient. Andy thought she didn't trust them. Marissa felt rushed and excluded from the creative process. So they shut down. They delivered a rushed deck because Jasmine rushed the relationship. Dialogue break. Coaching Jasmine. Later that week, Jasmine sits with a mentor, Clara, sipping burnt coffee from a paper cup. "I don't get it," Jasmine says. "I said everything they needed to know." Clara nods slowly. "You said it, but you didn't feel it with them." "What do you mean?" "Leadership isn't just clarity, it's connection. You gave them orders, but they needed ownership." Jasmine stares at her cup. "So, I messed up?" "You didn't connect," Clara says. "Next time, show them why it matters to you. Invite them in." The core shift from talking to connecting. The difference between effective communication and ineffective communication often comes down to whether someone feels emotionally safe at that moment. It's not always about what you say. It's about what they feel in your presence. Think of it like this. Talking equals information transfer. Connecting equals emotional alignment. The illusion of talking is seductive because it feels like we're doing something. We're sending emails, replying to texts, offering solutions, and holding meetings. However, what we often do is talk in circles, performing communication rather than participating in it. Actionable truth. Stop fighting to be right. Start fighting to connect. If you want to break the illusion of talking, start here. 1. Don't rush. Rushing is the enemy of emotional clarity. 2. Validate before you direct, even if you disagree. 3. Don't assume your words land. Ask, did that make sense? How did that come across? 4. Match your tone to your message. Calm doesn't mean cold. 5. And most of all, listen with your presence. In every conversation, ask yourself, not, did I say it right? But did they feel seen? Because that's the difference between talking to someone and speaking with them. There's a moment in almost every relationship, whether professional or personal, when words stop working. You say something and the other person responds, but somehow nothing is heard. That's when the illusion begins. You're speaking, they're nodding, the conversation is happening in real time, but it's not yielding any meaningful results. You walk away feeling misunderstood, frustrated, maybe even angry. And worse, you don't know why.